Can you see my screen, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so here, so if you closely observe this particular screenshot, whenever we bring the data to node, so node, when you design the node contains fields. They are nothing but attributes. Node contains fields. They are nothing but attributes. I have taken ID, name, salary. This is while designing the program. But when you bring the data to node will store the records at runtime. So node, when you run the program, when you bring the data to node internally contains collection of elements. Node is a collection of elements at runtime. That means when you run the program. But when you design the node is collection of attributes. That means they are nothing but fields at design time. Node is a collection of attributes. They are nothing but fields at design time. And when you run the program, node contains collection of elements. Elements are nothing but records. Elements are nothing but records, that is at runtime. Now, every element, whenever you store the elements, every element internally contains one record. One element is associated with one record inside the node. So now, if you observe this diagram also you can see node means its collection of elements, element 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. And every element is having one record associated with that. And every record contains 3 field values. Every record contains 3 field values, ID, name, salary. Because node contains 3 attributes. If node contains 4 attributes, then every record contains 4 field values. So now, when you write the programs, in programs I can say, if you want to refer node in program, in new version of Webdynpro, we have to use, in new version of Webdynpro, we have to use this syntax, LOND node name. This is a syntax to refer node in your programs. That is in new version. If you are working with older version, then you have to use node underscore node name. You have to use this syntax. And if you want to refer element in your new version, then you have to use LOEL node name. That's the syntax. And if you are referring element in old version, you have to use ELEM underscore node name. And if you want to define work area in Webdynpro, if you want to define work area, you can use ls underscore node name. And in older version, you have to use stru underscore node name. These are the standard references we use. This is for work area. And if you want to define internal table, then you have to use LT Yesterday I was talking about this point. For internal table, we use LT underscore node name. And in older version, we use IT underscore node name. This is syntax. So whenever you write the programs in Webdynpro, programming depends on these references: node, element, work area, and internal table. Hi students, is there any problem in my voice or screen? I just want to confirm. Is everything okay?
Fine.
No, it's perfectly okay.
Okay, right.
Perfectly okay.
Yes, sir. Fine.
Okay. So these are the programming syntaxes we are going to use at node level, element level, work area level, and internal table level. Now let us understand programming syntaxes. I mean to say context-based programming syntaxes. So whatever I give here, this is nothing but standard references. In real time also we use the same type of references. These are the standard references for referring node, element, and work area. Okay, now let us think about syntaxes. I mean to say for example, syntax 1. Syntax 1 is to find the count of elements. Count of elements is nothing but count of records in a node. I want to identify how many records are available. That means how many elements are available in a node I want to identify in my program. So assuming that I am using new version, so you have to use node syntax. This is your node syntax, and our node name is itab, so LOND itab. That's our node syntax. On node syntax, you need to call one standard method, get element count. It's a standard method. Get element count, and return type, it gives you count here. And this count you can declare by using data type integer. So this is a syntax you need to follow if you want to get the count of elements from the node level. There is a standard method, get element count, and this is a node reference. So don't worry, we are going to do this practically, then you may get more and more clarity. But in today's class, let us understand syntactically. So not only this, say for example syntax 2. This is syntax 1. I want to go for syntax 2. I want to clear all the elements. Elements means records. I want to clear all records from node level. I want to clear all records from I want to clear elements from node level. So node syntax you have to use LOND, the node name is itab. According to our diagram, the node name is itab. On that node, you need to call one standard method, that is invalidate. That's it. It will clear everything from the node level. And let us go with syntax 3. So in syntax 3, let us understand one note. By default, selection is on first element. That means selection will be on first record. When you bring the data to node, the selection will be on first record by default. That means internally on first element. So I want to change the selection now. I want to move the selection of element from node level. So to do that, you have to use one syntax. At node level means you have to use node syntax, LYND tab, and you need to call some methods like move next. It will go to next position. Similarly, you can use move previous. It will go back to previous position. And you can use move first. It will directly go to first position. And you can use move last. It will go directly to last position. That means selection will change at node level. And you can also use move to, and in the bracket you can use index equal to, say for example 5. It will directly go to 5th position. So all these methods will help you to change the selection at node level. That means selection from one element will be modified to another element. So these are the syntaxes. I'll show it practically, don't worry. Let us go with next syntax. Syntax 4. To clear the selection at node level. If you want to clear the selection at node level, you need to use node reference, LYND tab, and you need to call one simple method, clear underscore selection. Clear underscore selection is a method you need to call. It will not maintain any selection now. Okay, now let us go with syntax 5 to capture the selected element index value. I want to capture the selected record index value. Which record is selected? Every record has some index. That index value I want to capture in my program. Then you have to use LONDI tab. Then you have to call one simple method, get lead selection index. It gives you index value. Whichever record is selected, that index value you will get. You will not get record, you will get index value only. If 9th record is selected, you will get 9. If 10th record is selected, you will get 10. And you can declare that index value with the data type integer. So that's the syntax we follow. Get lead selection index is the method. And similarly, syntax 6 to assign internal table records to node level. If you want to assign internal table records to node level, you have to use, yesterday also we have used it. This syntax we have used yesterday to assign internal table records to node level. So yesterday you might not got some clarity, but I can give now some more clarity. The node level is LYND tab. On node level you need to call bind table, and you need to pass your internal table LTI tab. So yesterday we have used this one. We use this line, bind table is a method. We use this method always to assign internal table records to node. Why we have to do at node level? Because Web Dynpro always operates at node level. So this is one of the method, or there is one more method. Instead of bind table, you can also use bind elements. Both are same. You can use bind table or you can use bind elements method. Bind table or bind elements, but performance wise this bind table is recommended. Performance wise bind table method is recommended. according to SAP. Syntax 7. Say for example, I want to capture all elements, that means all records from node to internal table. I want to capture all records from node to internal table. So you have to use node reference, LYNDI tab. And there is one standard method, get static attributes table is a method. This method will help you to capture all the elements and all the records which are available in node. You can send it to internal table. You can pass internal table LTI tab. That's the syntax we use. So if a node contains 1000 elements, all 1000 records will come to internal table. LT_I tab. And similarly, syntax 8, to assign single record to node. Single record means I can say it is nothing but work area. I want to assign work area to node. That means single record to node. Then you can use node reference, LYNDI tab. Then you can call bind structure is a method. Bind structure, and you can pass your work area. The work area is ls_I tab. Bind structure will assign only single record, but bind table will assign multiple records. That's the difference. Bind table will assign multiple records to node. Bind structure will assign single record to node. Syntax 9, to capture the selected element. I mean to say, I want to capture selected record. First you have to capture element from node. Say for example, user has selected here in this particular diagram. You can see your node contains collection of elements, and assume that user has selected 5th element. I want to capture that 5th element. So to do that, you have to use LYNDI tab, that's a node reference, and call one simple method, get element. So automatically it gives you element. This is element syntax. From the node, you call get element, it gives you element. Which element it gives you? Selected element it gives you. Whichever, if 9th record is selected, then it gives you 9th element directly here. That's the purpose of get element method. Syntax 10, to capture a specific. I'm not talking about selected record, I'm talking about specific. Specific element I want to capture from node. I want to capture specific element from node. For example, say for example, 3rd element I want to capture. Then what will be the syntax? LONDI tab. You have to use node reference. And you need to call get element, in the bracket you need to pass index equal to 3. So this is the approach you need to follow. Get element, in the bracket index, then it gives you specific element. In this case it gives you 3rd element. In previous case it is capturing selected element. In this case it is capturing 3rd element directly. because we are using index equal to 3 for same method. Now similarly, let us go with syntax 11 to remove. I want to remove selected element from node. If you want to remove selected element, first of all you have to capture the selected element. That means you have to take this one. This line is compulsory because this line gives you selected element. After capturing selected element, you have to remove that particular element from the node level by using remove underscore element method and pass your element. You have to pass your element here. So this approach you need to follow. First we are capturing element, selected element, then we are removing that selected element. Now let us go with syntax 12 to remove specific element. From the node. For example, I want to remove 7th element from the node. I want to remove 7th element from the node, so you can use the same syntax as earlier syntax. But you can use index equal to 7. That's the only difference. In this line, you are capturing in this line you are capturing 7th element because we are passing index equal to 7. So you will get 7th element, so it will remove 7th element. Let us continue. So the next syntax is very important. Syntax 13. Capture the selected record. I want to capture selected record values from node. So every time we use this syntax, most important. First of all, you need to capture the element because record values are part of record, record is part of element, element is part of node. Record values are part of record, record is part of element, element is part of node. So first of all, you have to capture selected element by using this syntax LOND, I tab, then call get element. So it gives you element. It gives you element. So which element it gives you? It gives you selected element. Remember that. After capturing selected element, you try to use this element. Try to use that element and try to call one simple method on that element, that is get static attributes. Don't worry, this method will be auto-generated through wizard. But for our understanding, I'm writing these syntaxes. Get static attributes will give you record. So this is important for us. ls underscore I tab. This is nothing but work area. So in this first line, we are capturing selected element. In last line, by using getStaticAttributes method, we are capturing the selected record into work area. This is nothing but work area. Recognize that. ls_itab, that is nothing but work area. So whichever record is selected, it will come to work area. After getting the values to work area, you can do further operations. That means you can use that work area values, ls_itab. You can use like this, ls_itab hyphen first field ID. You can use wherever required. ls_itab hyphen name. You can use wherever required. ls_itab hyphen salary, wherever required. So this is a most important syntax, but this syntax is auto-generated. I will show you practically, but it's better to have an idea. And next syntax is also almost similar. Capture the specific record values. From node. Then you have to use the same syntax. But in this syntax, just you need to change. Syntax is same, but you need to change get element in the bracket index equal to, say for example, I want to capture fourth record value. So you provide index equal to 4. That's it. This is important. Get element index equal to 4. So you will get fourth record to work area. Then you'll get fourth record values, ID, name, salary. You'll get fourth element, you'll get fourth record here to work area, then you'll get fourth record individual values, ID, name, salary. So there are 3 statements, element, record into work area, then record values. So this is the approach you have to follow. And next syntax you can also use like this. You can also read record by record. Capture the record by record. So this is possible by using the same syntaxes, but you put these syntaxes in something like do loop or like that, do count times. You can put these syntaxes in do loop, so you'll get record by record. Just recognize that. If you want to capture record by record, these 2 lines are compulsory. Get element, in get element index equal to s5 hyphen index you need to pass. Get element index equal to s5 hyphen index. And you will get record by record into work area here, because we are using these 2 lines inside the do loop. So if count is 30, then it will read record 1 to work area, then record 2, record 3, record 4 up to 30 records. So this also becomes very important syntax. Just we are using these 2 lines inside the do loop. And similarly, next syntax, to initialize values to work area. This is a normal ABAP syntax. If you want to initialize values to work area, you can directly use like this, ls_itab hyphen ID equal to something like this, some ID, ls_itab hyphen name equal to something like Ajay. So this is the normal ABAP syntax we can use in Web Dynpro also. It's a normal approach. And if you want to clear work area, this is a normal ABAP syntax. You can use it in Web Dynpro. That is clear statement, clear ls underscore itab. This is to clear work area. And similarly, one more syntax. So if you want to read record by record from internal table to work area, this is also possible in Web Dynpro. If you want to capture record by record from internal table to work area. So you can use your normal ABAP syntax, but loop at internal table, LT underscore itab. That becomes internal table into work area. That is ls itab. And you do some operations here inside the do loop. And you can put end loop. So we can also use this. We are going to use these syntaxes in our programming. Loop at internal table to work area and do some operations and put end to loop. This is similar to normal ABAP. Not only this, we can also use all other ABAP syntaxes. Whatever I have discussed till now, they are Web Dynpro related syntaxes. But inside Web Dynpro, you can also use all ABAP syntaxes. We can also use all ABAP based syntaxes inside Web Dynpro programming. Wherever required. Don't forget this. All ABAP syntaxes we can use in Web Dynpro wherever required for our requirements. But there are some statements which you cannot use. First I'll tell you which are the common statements. We can use our select query. You can use your select query with where clause. We can use select query with inner join. You can use your select query with left outer join. And you can use your select query with for all entries. And you can also use insert statement, delete statement, update, modify. These are very commonly used in Web Dynpro also. Append, move corresponding. So not only this, we can also use string operations. We can also use string operations like we can use concatenate. These syntaxes are normal to ABAP. As it is ABAP syntax, you can use in Web Dynpro, everything. Whatever I'm writing from here, 1960 syntax onwards. Concatenate, condense, replace for all occurrences. And you can use shift, split, and translate. You can use translate. So all these string operations you can use. Not only that, we can use system fields also in Web Dynpro. Like sy-uname, sy-dbcnt, sy-uzeit, sy-index, something like lingu, sy-datum. So all system fields we can use whenever required. And moreover, total data dictionary we can use. That is total SE11 we can use in Web Dynpro also. I mean to say we can use search helps, domains, data elements. We can use table types. When I go for object-oriented programming, I'll be using table types, structures, our normal database tables, and we are going to use something like so these are the basic things from our data dictionary. And not only that, we can also call function modules by using call function statement. Call function, with that you can use function module. And with call function, you can also use something like, you can also use RFC. With call function, we can also use BAP in Web Dynpro programming. These syntaxes are same. We can use same call function, function module, RFC, BAP. These syntaxes are same. And not only that, we are going to use something like we are going to use object-oriented ABAP classes, object-oriented methods, and we can also use object-oriented interfaces. So last part, whatever I'm discussing, these things I'll be explaining when I start object-oriented programming. How to use object-oriented classes, methods, and interfaces in Web Dynpro. That part I'll cover when I introduce object-oriented programming. But I mean to say, this is the scope of Web Dynpro. This is the total scope of Web Dynpro. What are I have written, all these syntaxes. So majority of the applications you can easily complete by using all these things. And I'll try to write which ABAP statements you cannot use. ABAP statements which cannot be used. I'll write those statements. Whatever we have to use, I've written already. Sort item by ascending, these things we can use, but I want to write ABAP statements which cannot be used inside Web Dynpro. So remember that you can't use call screen and you cannot use call transaction. You cannot use something like S5-page number because we don't have page numbers here, and we can't use S5-LSIND because we don't have list index here. S5- something like you can't use selected line, something like LISEL. You can't use that because we don't capture through report, we capture through table in Web Dynpro. So these things, even if you use it, will not work. And moreover, you can't use like write statement, you can't use uline, we can't write eline. So these things you cannot use it in Web Dynpro. And you can't use S5-UCOM. Because why we can't use all these things? Because Web Dynpro is browser-based applications. But these statements which I wrote at the end, those statements deals with GUI-related operations. ABAP statements means GUI-based statements you cannot use it in Web Dynpro because Web Dynpro is browser. But uline, vline, write, SciUCOM, all these things are related to GUI. It's not related to browser, so you can't use. Even if you use it, will not work. So remember those things. So I'll try to implement all these things in different examples. The syntaxes which I explained, I'll be using it practically in the examples. You'll get more and more clarity. Okay, I'll take some doubts from your side.